Coach, going to Iowa, first round of the NCAA tournament. How excited you guys?
Very excited. So that was kind of one of the schools we were thinking about. We weren't really sure, but definitely fired up to play a different opponent because we played Arkansas 2 years ago and Oklahoma State recently, and so it'll be an exciting trip for the whole team.
Coach, for you to take over in December of 21, and the next year you get to the tourney. Last year, didn't get there, had a great season. This year, you do. I mean, what do you say about the quick success you've had here at NSU and carrying on great traditions?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here for 11 seasons, and so I was the main recruiter, and so that was a big part of my role, and to be able to bring in quality student athletes. So they were already here, and just coming in and being able to imprint a new culture and be able to change the chemistry of the team, give a focus in regards to style of play and the things that we wanted to accomplish, and all the student athletes were bought in, and you can see the results from it.
What are some of the things that you imprint there? Because it's when you're around for so long, you can keep doing the same, which you've been doing, but there's obviously some change.
Yeah, I think it was more about what we were doing on the field in regards to training and style of play and expectations and what we were going to be doing, strategy in games, things like that. But it definitely started off the field with our identity, and we came up with 4 core values that the team came up with: their character, chemistry, compete, and communicate. And that's stuff that we live and breathe, and that was a big part of it. And I said, we're here to win. I made the non-conference schedule tough all 3 years to get us prepared for conference, and it was just baby steps, and we just kind of grew together. I gave them a strong voice, so I listened to them, and we made decisions together as a leadership group as well as the coaches. And we didn't know what to expect that first year, but obviously it turned out to be great. And then you think, is it a Cinderella story? Can we keep it going in the second year? And we were able to do that and establish our style of play even more. And this year we're really hitting our stride.
You mentioned you guys thought about Iowa being one of those teams right
Correct.
place. So, A, what do you know about Iowa? And B, when was the last time Missouri State played Iowa?
It's a great question. I don't know that answer. And as far as, I was thinking more of regional opponents that would be neat to kind of play for the first time, in, at least in my history here, and Iowa was one of them. We had also thought possibly Arkansas, KU, SLU, some of the others that were in the area. I've watched a little bit of Iowa's play. I think they're going to play us straight up in a good style of soccer, so I think it's going to be a fun match to watch.
So you've been there before. How much does that experience help you guys this year?
Yeah, I think it's going to be massive for us. I texted the captains last night and said, listen, 2 years ago we made it. And again, maybe that's on me as a coach, feeling I'm just happy to be here and to accomplish that. But this year, that's not good enough. So for us to get there, we want to compete. I feel that we will. We're healthy. We're ready to go. And it's funny that I actually just a week ago scheduled a game against Iowa here next year. So this will be a neat intro to what's ahead. So I'm excited about it.
Coach, your team dominated the Valley this season.
Right.
And it's not your fault who you're playing against. That's how they decide these
Right.
games and everything. How excited are your girls to prove themselves against the top tier opponent?
Yeah, I think they're all in. I think the mentality is to go out there, start fast, try to score early, and just keep after us. And obviously our veteran leadership in the back from a defensive standpoint has done well and kept teams to a lot of shutouts. And so I think they're here to make a run. And they mentioned in the show, maybe it's going to be a Cinderella story, and you could see everyone in the room kind of smiling. So, I mean, I think that's what we're looking to do.
What's so special about Julia?
She's relentless. So people do not want to play against her, not because of how great she is as an attacker. It's because she disrupts what they're trying to do on their attacking side. So she's constantly putting pressure on them. And just even against Drake, she was able to force turnovers twice. We got 2 goals off of them. So, I mean, just her work ethic, her work rate creates. And one of the things that we talked about, we have a great back line, we have a great midfield, but we said this year, and we worked on it in the spring, is we want to focus on our counter press. So we want to win the ball higher up the field so our defense doesn't have to do as much work, and that's what we've been able to do. And it's generated a ton of goals, especially in conference.
Now, I haven't looked up the weather for obviously this coming week, but because we've had an unseasonably warm fall,
Right.
This is ideal weather to play any sport, except going to Iowa in November. What do you think about how that weather might affect the play, or of course maybe the atmosphere itself of trying to suck it out of you guys?
Yeah, I think we'll be ready for anything. So I think we've had a couple cold training days over the course of the last 2 weeks, especially last week when we had the buys. I think the team is going to be focused on what the task is at hand, and we'll be ready for whatever. I'm assuming their field's grass. We typically play on turf, so all those kinds of things. But we're going to push past that, and we're going to get ready and get our strategy set, and we'll be ready to go when we play them. Whether I think it's Friday on their website, but we'll see what that looks like here soon.
I guess last one. Give me one word. What one word describes this team?
Grit.
Why?
Well, one reason is the last 2 years we implemented our style of play. And we were able to go out there and do that, but we were not able to match the physicality. And so this spring we talked about having a bite to us and having that grit. And now not having teams like Drake push us around physically. And we've been able to now dominate in that area as well. So that's been a huge advantage for us.
Just a special time in soccer at Missouri State.
Right.
You know, because everybody's thinking Missouri State and soccer, but really they are.
Right.
People are going to notice what's going on.
Right.
These two programs, just what is it about this area and what you guys have resource-wise to be able to get in the NCAA tournament multiple years and have a top 15 men's
Right.
soccer team at the same time?
Yeah, it's great job what obviously Coach Siebold has done, and it's funny. 2 years ago, he goes, "We're a soccer school now," and I'm like, "Okay, here we go," and that's exciting times. You know, with the new stadium, newer stadium, the turf that we got this past summer, we're working on upgrading our locker rooms, all those kinds of things. But for us on the women's side, a big part of it is we recruit regionally. We can go to Kansas City, St. Louis, and in the Midwest region to get the top talent. I don't have to go to the East Coast or the West Coast to do that. We do have some internationals that have brought some great culture to our program. But with that, we go back to then talking about chemistry and the family environment, is our parents and grandparents are at every game, home and away, and that makes a difference. And so that fuels us, that excites us. You know, it's those types of things that make us special. We also do things, I travel everybody. So even if they're injured, so they come on the road with us so that they can support. So we feel like a team. So we talk about the student-athlete experience. We want it to be a positive experience. We want them to be involved as much as possible. They have a voice in what we're doing, like I mentioned earlier. So I just think it's a special place. The people are great. I'm not from the Midwest. When I first moved here, people waved to you here. I was like, they're waving to me, like joggers wave to people in cars, you know, and things like that. Now I get upset if someone doesn't wave to me. So I think it's just a special place. It kept Coach Rob Brewer tells a story before me. He said, I thought I'd be here for a couple of years, and then he was here 26 years and still here. So it's an exciting place to be, exciting time, like you said.
Well, you even touch on the regional stuff. I mean, it's just watching Kansas City explode in soccer,
Right.
knowing what St. Louis has as well.
Right.
It's kind of in the center of all that.
Yes, yeah, and it's exciting with the Casey Current having the first women's professional stadium there, and just the support of women's sports in this area. The World Cup's coming, all those kinds of things, and the SLU, the KUs, the Oklahoma States, the Arkansas. We're all recruiting against each other, and we're all going into these same areas. So it's a hot spot right now in a good way.